What's up, Weirdo? Shade Tree Surgeon here. We are in Brat Star Northwest, and this shovelhead has been non-running for way too long.
He was shooting directly at me.
What the? Lots more shots. Dude, it's gonna be all good. Well, before being shot at by a deranged lunatic, my day here in the PNW started out pretty normal. Jason, Steve, Brandon, myself, and Shay Lisi definitely have our hands full when it comes to running sessions cannabis extracts. We are currently not only the fastest growing cannabis extract producer in Oregon, we're also #1 in the state. And considering that we handle everything in-house, from planting the seeds to tending the crops and harvesting the plant, even packaging and processing, it's way more than just a full-time job. What I'm trying to say is that we're pretty busy, but we're also still trying to make time this summer to take an awesome motorcycle trip. We just happen to be doing it on 3 vintage shovel heads that need pretty much constant maintenance and attention. I'm juggling preparing the motorcycles for the trip with work at sessions. That's why I was at the garage so late in the day, and I'm just saying, going through something like this makes you think about every single thing that happened along the way that led to you standing in exactly the wrong place at exactly the wrong time. So this kind of thing, it doesn't happen in Sherwood. There are no mass shootings in Ba Sing Se. Sherwood really is Pleasantville, USA. It's the kind of place where you could leave your keys in your motorcycle and come back outside to find a concerned suburbanite standing guard over it, making sure that nobody stole it. By the way, thank you, Carl. I don't think my 30-year-old Kawasaki was in any danger of being ridden away from the Sherwood Home Depot parking lot, but I appreciate your vigilance nonetheless. Now, Portland, leaving the keys in a bike, it'd be gone before I could blink my eyes. But this isn't Portland. This is Sherwood. That kind of stuff doesn't happen in Sherwood, let alone an unhinged gunman emptying 3 magazines in the general direction of the general public. I initially wasn't going to make a video about this, but after some urging from friends, I decided to do it. Basically, what I'm going to do here is give you guys a breakdown of the sequence of events, my emotions during them, and why I chose the actions that I did. There are plenty of people out there who regularly plan for some sort of active shooter scenario. I'm not one of them. So this will mostly be from a normie perspective, I would say, even though I would not consider myself to be normal per se. Regardless, I'm going to try to be as brutally honest as I possibly can be. So right before everything went down, I had taken a break from working on motorcycles to do a YouTube premiere on this channel. That's kind of a live chat while the video plays for the very first time, where I sit down and I talk to the audience who is watching it. It's a whole thing. We have a lot of fun doing it. In fact, I'm positive that this video is premiering right now, so howdy to 700 to 1,000 of my closest friends and family who are in the chat right now. Anyway, I was about 10 minutes to the end of the video that I was premiering when I heard what sounded like a car doing a donut, and it sounded pretty close. My ears perked up because, like most folks, when I hear screeching tires, I wait to see if there's going to be a loud bang at the end of it. No bang at the end of the first time I heard screeching tires, but the second time I heard screeching tires, it was followed by the very unmistakable sound of a car hitting something. And that sound sounded like it was coming right outside the gate of this storage facility. And at that point, I walked outside with my phone in my hand, premiered chat rolling, only to see that the noise wasn't coming from outside the gate. The noise was coming from a white F-150 that had run into the gate. My first split-second thought was like, this has got to be some sort of accident. After all, who waits for the electric gate to fully open before you drive through it? I know I surely don't. So okay, maybe this guy was a little bit eager and he hit the gate. That thought was very quickly dispelled when the guy threw the truck into reverse, full throttle, tires spinning, then back into drive, tires spinning again, and rammed into the gate a second time, this time ramming his way all the way through it. Now, once he had smashed his way through the gate, he did initially stop right there. I don't know if it was out of shock or what, but I did not stick around to find out what it was. At that point, I had decided it was prudent of me to exit stage left double time. Yeah, I boogied back into our unit because I don't know about you guys, but something about being out in the open with a vehicle that's just rammed down the gate into the place that you're in just does not seem very healthy. And this is to show you guys the distance in between our shop and where I can see the front gate, or at least where the front gate used to be. At this point, my mind wasn't thinking at all like this guy's about to start shooting. I wasn't thinking that at all. My first thought about his intentions, anyway, was that he had rammed the gate down because he was like some kind of disgruntled former tenant here. Maybe he got late on his rent, didn't pay his bills. What happens when you do that is they'll put a lock on your storage unit and keep all your stuff. Maybe he had rammed down the gate because he was going to come in here, break into the storage unit that he had not paid his rent on, and just retrieve all his stuff. I think that that was a pretty reasonable assumption on my end. At first, anyway. Because once again, that assumption was quickly proven wrong, this time by gunfire. The guy had peeled out from where he initially was and opened fire on a young kid who was about halfway in between where I am and the gate is, who was detailing a car. And doing quite a good job at detailing that car, I might add. The thing was spotless, showroom clean. You know, besides the bullet holes in it. At this point, after hearing gunfire, I figured my best move was probably to close the bay door of this garage and take cover. I'm usually armed, but I didn't have a weapon on me this day. Now that bay door was almost closed when another car came screeching up and a young man jumped out and started running right towards me. I didn't know it at the time, but this was the young man who had been detailing that car who the gunman had dumped an entire mag at. I've got to point out that I didn't know this dude from Adam. I knew somebody had been washing a car up there, like somewhere in my mind, because I remember passing by and seeing like a bucket and some rags out, but I hadn't seen who was doing it at all. All I knew was there was a very frantic looking young man running towards me, yelling at the top of his lungs, "Please don't shut the door, please let me in." I'm not a perfect person, and I'll be honest, I'm ashamed to admit that the very first thought in my head was just like, oh, God damn it, dude, this is like probably the reason this guy is here. This guy was after whoever this is, and he's running right towards me now. This kid, when I say kid, he's in his 20s, but you know, this kid is the whole reason this dude rammed down the gates and is shooting up the place. Mind you, these thoughts are coming quick, because in the seconds that are going by while he's running towards me, the guy is still actively firing from his truck. Now, I would say that the likelihood of being hit by a bullet fired from a handgun in a moving vehicle 50 yards away, that's pretty slim. But that's a thought that I had later, not in the moment. The second thought I had about this kid was, if I stop this door and let him in, and this is the reason that he's in here, this is the person that he's after, that dude's next move is going to be to ram this door down, which is not tough at all. It's just thin aluminum. Ram it down. We'll be like fish in a barrel in here. He's going to come in here and execute us both. There's just nowhere to go, okay? While I certainly would have tried to defend myself with any number of hammers, pipes, and other tools that I have here in the shop, that old adage of, you know, don't bring a breaker bar to a gunfight was definitely in the forefront of my mind. Now, my third thought about this young man, in as many seconds, I might add, like I said, these things are coming fast at me, okay? They're coming real fast. My third thought about this person running towards me was that there is no way I could live with myself if I was such a yellow-bellied coward that I closed the door in the face of a kid that was running towards me away from gunfire, whether he was the reason for it or not. I really, really wish I could say that it was because I'm so brave and so noble, risking it all to valiantly hold the line in the face of death. Nah, that wasn't it, man. I spent some soul searching after the fact. I'm trying to be as dead honest as possible here. I didn't so much choose to do the right thing as I chose not to be a coward. Does that make sense to anybody? I really don't know what it says about me, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe that shame culture works. Maybe all those years of getting my ass beat by Father Birchall at St. John's, maybe in the end, maybe it all paid off. Who knows? Regardless, the fear of being labeled a pussy won out over self-preservation. I stopped the bay door, pulled the kid under, finished closing it, and then we both took cover. Anyway, turns out the dude wasn't after him, so, you know, all's well that ends well, right? Now, me and my new best friend, Pete, are hunkered down behind about 4 motorcycles and a pretty large toolbox. I'm no expert, but at the time I felt pretty safe from any normal pistol caliber, you know, with that much metal in between us. I just didn't think that a bullet would reach that far. We could hear him peeling out in his truck all over the facility, what sounded like to me stopping at different locations and then dumping an entire mag. If that is true, I believe that he stopped to completely reload his gun no less than 3 times while he was doing that. Though if a police report comes out and says that he only fired 6 shots in total, well, I'll just say this. I won't be the very first person to misremember how many shots were fired in a situation like this. There was definitely a lot of suspense. I mean, besides the obvious, there's definitely a lot of suspense during this. I didn't say this out loud to Pete at the time, but what it sounded like to me is that the guy was going to different locations around the storage facility, firing, and then moving on to another location, stopping, firing, and then moving on again. At the time, and of course, at the time, my brain was just like worst case scenario. But at the time, my brain was taking these noises and putting them together and saying that he is like actively driving around the complex looking for people, and then when he finds them, shooting them. To me, it sounded like he was doing some sort of search and destroy type tactic, and I had to assume that it would be only a matter of time before he got back to us. I didn't share this thought with Pete because, honestly, I just didn't think it'd make any difference. I mean, if he pulled up out there, we'd have to grab whatever we could and attempt to defend ourselves as best as possible. There's nothing else we could have done besides that. So I just figured, maybe I just won't say this. Maybe I just won't say it out loud. I don't know. Plus, it was just me guessing. It's not like I knew that's what was happening. That's just what I was thinking. I'm also slightly ashamed to admit that in my head, I was hoping anyway, like I'm ashamed to admit that I was hoping for this. I was hoping that we would be the hardest target to get at. That's assuming the other people that he was firing at were in the open, and hoping since we were the hardest that we would be the last people that he tried to kill, which in turn, hopefully, again, would give us enough time for the police to arrive. That wasn't a pleasant thought to have, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't feel great to share it. But if I'm gonna make this video, I figure I should be as honest as possible with every single thought that was going through my head at the time. After we made the 911 calls, that's when I pulled my phone out and turned on my camera. Some people might give me shit about that, but I'll tell you, it wasn't my first thought to do that, okay? My phone and the camera only came out after we had done everything in our power to make ourselves safe and also alert the authorities. Sorry, the footage is mostly dark, except when Pete turns the light on his phone to check himself for bullet holes. I didn't really want to walk to the front of the garage over here and turn on the light. I assume you guys will understand.
Oh, what the fuck? Some more shots.
Dude, it's going to be all good. We're literally sitting right now. What's your name?
Peter.
Josh.
We're in a detailing business.
Nice to meet you, dude.
In this area.
Yeah. Me and Peter are literally sitting here. A white F-150 just crashed through the gate of the storage unit, peeled out, and just started driving around here.
He was shooting directly at me too. I don't know how the
Below
fuck.
it, yeah. Just,
am I good?
Like freaking.
I'm good.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I heard the truck crash through. I was like, what the fuck? And then like 15 shots rang out. Well, anyway, there's that. I'm glad that you got over here, bud.
Oh, dude, I know. I was like, you were shutting the door. I'm like, let me in.
You didn't look like the kind of person who had a gun. You look like the type of person who was scared of a gun being fired.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, anyways, everything's all right now, bud.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good, dude. The cops are here. We're going to stay behind our toolbox here until the shots stop ringing out because I'm not trying to get in the crossfire. It's all good, dude. We're all good. We're all good, man.
Crazy.
Everything's okay.
Jesus Christ.
Well, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
it's a funny way to.
Nice to meet you too. Jesus Christ. I mean,
I feel like we have a bond now.
Yeah, you saved my life, dude. Hey, Mom, I was just doing a detail at this storage unit complex in Sherwood, and this gentleman just came in and started unloading shots. I'm hiding, and the cops are already called. The cops are already here. I just want to let you know that I'm okay, but it was nearly shot. He started shooting with a handgun inside the storage facility. Yes, I'm okay. I'm hiding in a storage unit with another gentleman. A ton of police are on their way. I'm okay. I got into a storage unit in the safety. I know. What the fuck, Mom? What the fuck? I'll keep you updated. I'm okay. I haven't been hit. This gentleman is letting me stay in his storage unit until the cops knock on the door and say it's okay to come out. I don't know, Mom. He sped around, he broke through the gate in his truck, and then he was on the other row of me, started looking at me and started firing shots towards the truck that I was detailing. And I got down, I got in Allie's car and I sped off, and this gentleman you have to get a gate code to get out of here, so I just sped over to this gentleman's storage unit, and he was shutting it, and he let me in here. We're hiding behind a toolbox. There's tons of cops already here. They're gonna knock on the door when it's safe to come out. I don't know what the fuck just happened. I don't know what the fuck just happened.
We're good. We are good because there's only one dude, and there's like a dozen cops here.
Yeah, no, there's gonna be a ton of cops.
I'm pretty confident that we're safe at this point.
I'll send you my current location right now. Yeah, what the fuck? What a weekend, Mom.
So I personally chose not to call or text anyone while this was happening. I didn't want to reach out to anybody besides 911, obviously, before I knew that the danger had 100% passed. I just didn't want them to start freaking out, you know what I mean? So, hey, yeah, there's this guy here shooting up the place. Yeah, at the storage facility I'm at. Yeah, he's outside. It sounds like he's going around just shooting people, and I don't know, I think he'll make his way here. Eventually, the cops are probably on their way. Well, anyway, hey, I gotta go. I'll call you back, okay? You know, that's a that's a hell of a way to leave somebody hanging. Okay, so I figured, like, I'll just wait. Now, I'm not saying that I was right and Pete was wrong for calling his loved ones. One of those reasons is because Pete mentioned to me that his girlfriend's mother is a 911 operator. So his family would have gotten wind of exactly what was going on here literally as soon as the cops did. So I believe that he made 100% the right move to call them and let them know that he was alive while everything was happening. Otherwise, his family would have been way more stressed out not hearing from him than they already were. Eventually, the gunshots stopped and the sirens started, and me and Pete heard what we rightfully assumed to be police cruisers pulling up outside the storage unit. We heard lots of shouting, lots of people moving around, lots of police like yelling, identify yourself, show yourself, things like that. I assumed at that point they were, again, methodically searching the complex. I don't know what the standard operating procedure is. I assume that's one of them, but we had given the 911 operator our unit number, so the cops hopefully knew that we were in here. Now, even though it was well over 100 degrees in here with the garage door closed, I wasn't about to throw the door open and say howdy to a couple dozen cops out there holding automatic weapons searching for an active shooter. Don't get me wrong, I have full faith in the Sherwood Police Department, but faith isn't bulletproof, so we went ahead and played it safe and waited for them to knock on the door and tell us we could come out. Even so, for our safety, again, I set up my phone to record us opening the garage door and our very first interaction with the police.
Hi, Tiger Police!
Hey, we're lifting the door up now.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Sergeant Rumble?
No, we're all good. All right, cool.
Is this your guys' rig?
This is mine.
Yeah, that's his.
Were you guys, do you have any other rigs than that?
I was detailing an F-150 with the doors wide open. All that detail stuff down there is mine.
As expected, Sherwood PD was super friendly and super accommodating. I've had plenty of bad interactions with good and bad members of law enforcement over my time alive on this earth, trust me. Mainly bad ones, but that might be my fault, okay? I'm willing to accept some small amount of responsibility for that. I've had enough that I usually want to steer clear of the fuzz, even when I got my nose clean. But I will say this, on the 3 separate occasions that I've interacted with Sherwood PD, they've been nothing short of stellar. And seeing as the 2 times before this time, it was for moving violations where I was, very undeservedly let off with a friendly warning and have a nice day, I'm gonna go ahead and give them 5 stars. Now, before I get into the rest of what happened, I want to answer a question that I'm sure quite a few people have. What would I have done differently had I been armed? The honest answer is, I don't think I would have done anything differently. I legitimately think that being armed wouldn't have changed a single action that I took. I don't know for sure, of course. Of course, I don't know for sure. Nobody knows for sure until they're actually in the situation. But I don't think so. And of course, there's a very insecure part of me that wants to say, hell, I'd have walked right out there, stared that there varmint dead in his eye, hold my piece, take aim, adjust for windage, squeeze off 3 and put that rabid dog down. 2 in the chest and 1 in the head, all from 50 yards. No need to thank me, officers. Ladies, put your bare breasts away. Maybe not you. No parades needed. I ain't a hero. Just a God-fearing, red-blooded American citizen standing up and doing his duty. Of course I want to say that. Who wouldn't want to say that? But again, I'm trying to be as honest as possible here. Being armed wouldn't have changed anything that day. I mean, what am I going to do? Walk outside and point a pocket pistol at a 2.5-ton truck? The Ruger LCP ain't exactly the noisy cricket, and even 11 rounds at 380 ain't going to stop a moving vehicle, guys. Now, going through this definitely makes me want to be more vigilant about carrying every day. Makes me feel foolish for not leaving the house armed. But no, I don't think any of my actions would have changed had I been armed. Save for the fact that there would have been a pistol in my hand as me and Pete hid behind the toolbox. As Philly D says, I'll pass the question off to you, the audience. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you would have done if you were in this situation and you were armed. I want to know what you would have done, both about Pete running towards you as the door is closing, yelling to be let in while there's somebody actively firing, and I also would want to know what you would have done about that, about there being an active shooter in the place that you are currently in. I'm not here to judge what you have done or anything like that. I'm just curious to know how you would have handled it. It's an important question because at the end of the day, if I had walked outside and just stood up for truth, justice, baseball, titty bars, and the American way, all that would have happened is somebody would have died. Either me or the gunman. That's of course operating on the assumption that one of us was accurate enough to make the shot. But assuming that, someone would be dead. And as it was, the gunman wasn't very accurate because nobody died. Not even him. Cops took him in alive. Injured, but alive. So ultimately, in hindsight, of course, hindsight being 2020, had I been moved to heroism, all that would have come out of that is a body count. With how everything turned out, again, hindsight being 2020, but with everything turning out the way it did, I literally could have only made things worse. That is 100% not to say that there isn't plenty of reasons that you would use your weapon in a scenario very similar to this. Had this not been a storage facility, let's say it had been a shopping mall or a school. Well, if you're in that scenario and you came armed with a concealed weapon with the intent to use it to defend yourself and others, it's time to put your machismo where your mouth is. I would certainly hope at least that I would find myself equal to the task where I put into that situation. Though I can honestly say I have no idea what I would do in the moment. I hope that I would do it. I really do. I hope that I would stand up, put my money where my mouth is, and do the right thing. I really hope that I would do that. I think I would. I would like to say that I would. But again, till I'm there, how could I possibly know exactly what I would do? And I'll be honest, I really hope I never have to find out. Now, just real quick, if you're watching this video and you're in the Portland or Sherwood area and you want to support a local small business, check out Pete's Details. That's Pete's small business, as in the Pete that was in this video. I would say that I got to know Pete pretty well in a very short amount of time. He's a hardworking young man. He does a stellar job, receives 5-star reviews from everybody he encounters. He's working 7 days a week, making his own personal American dream come true here in Oregon. I have Pete'sDetails.com, his website, linked in my description down below. So if you need your car shined up by a mobile detailer while you're at work, make sure you drop him a line. He told me that he's eager to buy his very first motorcycle, so let's make this kid absolutely the busiest car detailer in the Portland area and help him get that bike. Personally, I can't imagine what it must have felt like to be running towards a closing door while somebody's actively shooting at you. It just sounds like something out of a horror movie. It sounds like something out of Aliens, where like the monster is chasing you and you're running towards a door that's closing and you're just like hoping against hope the person on the other side keeps it open for you. So anyway, it sounds insane. It sounds way more insane than what I went through, which was just like having to make the decision to not close the door. I really feel for Pete. He went through a lot. Super great kid. Like I said, Pete'sDetails.com. It's down below. I'd say that he deserves something nice after everything he's been through. And if you want to support our local small business, make sure that you're picking up sessions from your local dispensary. All natural, no additives, no bull. Not one micron of what goes into our all-in-one carts wasn't grown by us, all naturally, underneath the Oregon sun. And if it's not in a store near you, ask your bud tender to order it on Leaf Lake, and I'll do my best to come drop it off personally, by motorcycle if I can. I have checked in with Pete after all this stuff went down, and He's doing well. Me and Jason plan on having him on the Sessions podcast later on as a guest. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. And as for me, I don't know about you, but there's a certain something about surviving a mass shooting attempt that kind of gives you a lust for life. A craving for adventure, a burning desire to hit the road and do something reckless. I mean, come on, that can't just be me. I can't be the only one that feels like that, right? Right?
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
I feel the need to do something, anything. I'm just itching, about to jump out of my skin. Let's go do something insane. Well, we are officially in undisclosed location. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, no regrets. Come on, man. I pushed heavier bikes farther.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Panic spreading far and wide. Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Who will risk it all to end the evil call of Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. They never give up, they never say die, walking tall with banners high.
Shade Tree Army, a ruthless gang of scum, villains, freaks, and bikers determined to rule the world.